Hello everyone, this is Professor Deepika M from Sai Vidya Institute of Technology of Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering. In today's video session, we are going to study about the case studies and test bed for the smart grid. So this is actually a topic in a module 5 of smart grid and module 5 of smart grid that is the subject code is 17W831. So in this module particularly, we are going to study about how actually the case studies have been studied or implemented, and how these test beds are created. So that thing we are going to study, and how actually the US government has supported the smart grid project and smart grid implementation. So that thing we are going to study now. So, introduction, much work has been undertaken in the areas of policy and standard, framework development, and the assessment of new intelligent tools to achieve the objectives of the smart grid. So, to achieve the objective of the smart grid, that is, we call the smart grid, it is a well developed grid, and it has a two-way communication. It has all the smart features which are included in the grid, and the customer's involvement will be there. So to achieve all those achieve all those objective, the intelligent tools, policies, standards, and all things will work together to build the smart grid. And the engineers or the engineers who are working for the smart grid, they also has to have the knowledge of the market knowledge. They also have to know about the market values and the policy, and also the standard, and also the other thing with respect to the smart grid, along with the technologies. So, with the financial support of utilities and the government agencies, the work is primarily directed to the preparation of smart grid environment, particularly in terms of retrofitting and increasing the efficiency of the grid. So, here, to implement the smart grid, not only the one center or one institution is going to work. We told that the smart grid is actually a decentralized one. So to build the decentralized smart grid, so many projects has to be implemented in every area, like coming to a sensor technology, coming to a measurement technology, coming to a smart meter technology. So all this coming to a communication, coming to a cyber security knowledge. So everywhere the projects has to be implemented, so that thing cannot be handled by one utility company. So therefore the utility company and the government agencies, they are going to they were actually funded for these smart grid projects in different areas, for building the smart grid and to increase the efficiency of the grid. So the installation of WAMs, that is wide area monitoring systems, and smart metering upgrades are two additional areas to which the utilities are committing time and resources. So usually for building of WAMs and the smart meter technology, the much time has to be taken. So therefore, for this also utility is giving a very much time for building all these features. The development of tools, packages, demonstration environments, and the test beds is important for the research, education, and technological growth that will support the successful deployment. So, the development of tools, packages, and the demonstration environment and the test beds are important in research and education and technological growth. For research and for education and for technological growth, the test beds, the development of tools and development of packages, development of demonstration environment, and development of test beds are important. So coming to a demonstration project, so the demonstration projects are related to the development of WAMs, and voltage monitoring were completed by the DOE feasibility and design of WAMs as early as 1996. So in earlier year, the 1996, the DOE feasibility and design of WAMs. So for this project, wherein it has concentrated about the development of WAMs and voltage monitoring monitoring system. So the DOE released a fund. So the DOE stimulus funding has been provided for numerous utilities to engage in technical manufacturers upgrade and research supports to the academic institutions. So DOE also supported for numerous utilities for engaging to the technical manufacturing upgrade and also for the research. So the projects using the smart meters and distribution technology and consumer user and consumer or end user technology integration and deployment are organized and used by some of the utilities. So the smart grid stimulus funds awarded by DOE for 2009 total $620 million. Two categories of demonstration projects were funded under this stimulus. So first one is fully integrated regional smart grid demonstration for communication technology, sensing and control devices, smart meters, home monitoring system, energy storage option, and renewable energy integration. So you can have a look on the thing that, so for all these areas, like for the monitoring system, for home monitoring system, for sensor technology, for energy storage option, for renewable energy integration, so all these areas, the fund has been generated so that the upgraded and the advanced tools and the devices were researched and they were implemented in the smart grid technology. So the utility scale energy storage product, that is the Commonwealth Edison, then Dominion, Virginia Power, and Duke Energy were among the utilities receiving $10 to 200 million primarily for the smart meter throughout the United States. Then Southern California Edison and several other companies received the grant for synchrophaser installation, for wind energy storage, for distribution automation, and for regional smart grid demonstration project. So the GridCom project by Diego Gas and Electric in conjunction with Cisco, IBM, and Arcadian Networks developed a wireless smart grid network. So the advanced metering, the utilities such as Pepco are investing in the installation and integration of smart meter, and the Northwest Smart Grid Demonstration Project aims to validate the new smart grid technology and business models and provide two-way communication between distributed generation, storage, demand assets, and the existing grid infrastructure while quantifying the smart grid cost and benefits and advanced standard for interoperability and cybersecurity approaches. So some of the utility company, they helped in the advanced metering. Then microgrid with the renewable energy. So the microgrid, we know that it is a part of the smart grid. So wherein the distributed energy resources will be installed. So from there, the energy will be generated. And in case of any fault in the in the main grid or any maintenance work in the smart grid, then we can able to continue to supply the power from the microgrid to the rated load. So that is how the microgrid will be working. The feasibility of a microgrid as a standalone system will be improved if it can generate enough power for the load it is designed for. So we can develop the microgrid as a standalone grid. That means what? It is a isolated grid. We can build it as a standalone grid only if it can able to generate the enough power to supply for the rated load. So the microgrid development is a customer system oriented project meant to enable smart grid technology and function for the buildings and facility. So the microgrid is basically a customer oriented grid because if any situation that the customer cannot receive the power from the main grid, then the microgrid will be nearby their houses. So therefore from there they can continuously receive the power from the microgrid. So therefore this is one of the advantage with respect to a microgrid. And the development of an integrated system encompasses the implementation of smart grid equipment, devices, and software, as well as the installation and the improvement of advanced smart meter technologies into a community to impact the distribution system. So, therefore, for here, many devices, many software technology has to be implemented. So, in most implementations, the microgrid development encompasses the retrofitting infrastructure and also the distributed energy resource installation within the identified system. So there will be a retrofitting system. I mean, the earlier infrastructure will be there, along with the distributed energy resource will be there to implement the microgrid. The intellectual research which will support this collaborative will involve an economic and benefit analysis, a platform for analysis of network performance, which constitute the system level of intelligent microgrid in addition to a platform for decision support. So the research has to be carried out to make the microgrid as a intelligent grid. That is what the intelligent grid means. What it is something like automated grid. So when it can able to receive the power from the main grid, then it has to store that power. Or when the power has to be needed during a peak time, or during any maintenance work, or during any faulty condition, then microgrid can able to supply the power to the rated load. And once the system faults are clear, then it automatically has to synchronize with the grid, like that operation without any human intervention. So that thing should be happen automatically. So therefore there is a need for building a intelligent microgrid. So the below figure depicts a sample test bit topology designed for such a study with the two PV and wind technology. In the microgrid topology, the storage technologies are necessary, particularly for islanded or standalone operation. So what is islanded grid? So the islanded grid is nothing but what? It is a portion of a grid which becomes temporarily isolated from the main grid, but remains energized by its own distributed generation resources. That means what? So it is an isolated grid. When the main grid is not available, it can able to supply the power to the rated loads. So that we call it as a microgrid. And many microgrid also have the diesel generator, and they also have the solar panel, and also they have a wind turbine to generate the power. So one test bed is given over here. So it includes the two PV modules and one wind turbines are there. So this part is called as the microgrid. So this microgrid involves the two PV modules, and it include the one wind turbine, and also it includes the storage technology. So this is the main grid, and this is the load part. So for this load, the microgrid is rated for. Okay. So here you can observe, so this is the main grid, and this is the main generating station, and it includes the generator wherein the power will be generated, and that power will be fed to the bus 1. And through a bus 1, and from the bus 1, the power will be transmitted to a power bus 3 through a sub transmission line. And the isolated switch will be connected in between them for their connection. And again, through the isolating switch and the circuit breaker, the power will be sent to the bus 4. And to the bus 4, these loads are connected. So many loads are connected to a bus 4. And here you can observe here. So this is the microgrid, right? Here we have a PV module and we have a wind turbine. So from the PV module and from the wind turbine, the power will be generated, and through a charge controller, so that will be fed to a bus 2. Basically, this bus 2 is a DC bus, and hence for this DC bus, we are going to connect the storage devices like the battery bank and the super capacitor, and so many other storage technologies are there for their connection. So therefore, in case of excess power generated by these solar panels and the wind turbine, so that power or energy will be stored in the storage technologies. And let's say if any fault occur in the main generating station, so due to some fault, this generating station is unable to work, but it has to but the load has to the load wants the power continuously. So in such case, the microgrid plays a very important role. So this is a basically a DC bus, right? So from there we are going to give to an inverter, so wherein the DC will be converted into a AC power, and therefore this will be given to a synchronizer switch. So the synchronizer switch is a very important device, because this bus 3 is basically a AC bus, and this will be operating with a certain frequency and voltage. Let's say it is operating with a 50 hertz and 11 kV. So during that time, the synchronizer switch will synchronize the AC output from the inverter to this level, that is, it matches the frequency, voltage and magnitude of this power to the bus 3 voltage and frequency level, and therefore we can able to continue to supply the power to the loads continuously. So once the fault cleared in the main bus, then the power will not be given to a bus 3, and that can be stored in a storage technology. Like for example, we have so many loads, right? So whatever the power which is generated by the solar panel and wind turbine, if it is not up to the mark to supply the power, then from the storage technology we are going to tap the power, and from there also we can able to continue to supply the power, and hence all the loads will be working continuously. And at every stage we are going to use the switching logic. So the switching logic is used to the switching logic is helps to switch the many devices. So here you can see we have a switching logic. It switches whenever we require the PV module, or whenever we require the wind turbine. And here also switching logic will be there. Once the battery is fully charged, then we can able to store the power in the capacitor. So like that, every way the switching logic will be there. Thanks for watching the video.